Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everybody. Now I'm here. I would like to sharing about my presentation today under the title Language Assessment, Evaluation, and Literacy Acquisition. Hope you enjoy this presentation today. Let's check this out. Okay, come to the first slide. What is language assessment? Language assessment is one of component of teaching and activities. By doing assessment, teachers can helpfully gain information about every aspect of their students, especially their achievement. An aspect that plays crucial role in assessment tests. A good test is constructed by considering the principle of language assessment. They are: first, practicality; second, validity; the third is reliability; fourth is authenticity; and the last is washback or backwash. The first is practicality. Practicality can be simply defined as the relationship between available resources for the task, human resources, material resources, time, and etc., and resources which will be inquired in the design, development, and use of the task. According to the Brown 24, page 19, define practicality in terms of cost, time, administration, and scoring or evaluation. And then the second is validity. A test must aim to provide a true measure of the particular skill, which is it is extended to measure not to the extent that it measures external knowledge and other skills at the same time. According to Brown 24, page 22 till 27, proposed 5 ways to establish validity. They are content validity, criterion validity, construct validity, and consequential validity, and the last is phase validity. About the content validity, the correlation between the contents of the test and the language skill, structures, and etc., which is it means to be measured has to be crystal clear. The test item should really represent the course objective. And then criterion validity. This kind of validity emphasizes on the relationship between the test score and the outcome. The test should really represent the criterion that is intended to measure in the test. And then construct validity. Construct validity refers to concepts or theories which are underlying the usage of certain ability, including language ability. And then consequential validity. Consequential validity too refers to the social consequences of using a particular task of a particular purposes. The task of use is said to have consequential validity to extend the society that society benefits from that use of the task. And then face validity. A test is said to have a face validity if it looks to other testers, teachers, moderates, and students as if it measures what is supposed to measure. In speaking tests, for instance, face validity can be shown by speaking activities at the main activities in the test. The test should not focus on students' activities in speaking, not anything else. The test can be judged to have faced validity by simply look at no items of the test. Come to the third slide. The third is reliability. Reliability, it means that if the test is administered to the same students on different occasions or with no language practice work taking place between these occasions, then it produces almost the same result. And reliability almost does not really deal with the test itself. It deals with the result of the test. The test results should be consistent. And then authenticity. Authenticity deals with the real world. Teachers should construct a test where the test items are likely to be used or applied in the real context of daily life. According to Brown 24, page 28, also proposes consideration that might be helpful to present authenticity in the test. They are: the language in the test is natural as possible, items are contextualized rather than isolated, and then the third is topics are meaningful or relevant, interesting to the learners. The fourth is some thematic organization to item is provided, such as through a story or episode. And then the fifth is tasks represent or closely approximate real-world tasks. For the last is wash back or backwash. In dealing with principle of language assessment, these two words somehow can be interchangeable. According to Brown, wash back or backwash refers to the influence of testing on teaching and learning. And according to Chang et al., 28, page 7 till 11, the influence itself can be positive or negative. There is a positive washback and negative washback. Positive washback. Positive washback has beneficial influence on teaching and learning. It means that the teachers and students have a positive attitude toward the examination or test and work willingly and collaboratively toward its objective. A good test should have a good effect. And what about the negative washback? Negative washback does not give any beneficial influence on teaching and learning. The tests which have negative washback is considered to have negative influence on teaching and learning. And for the conclusion is a test is good if it contains practicality, good validity, high reliability, authenticity, and positive washback. The 5 principles provide good guidelines for both constructing and evaluating the test, and the teachers should apply these 5 principles in constructing and evaluating tests, which will be used in assessment activities. Come to the language and literacy acquisition. As human beings, we have the desire to communications with others. We do this in many ways. A simple smile communicates a friendly feeling. A clenched fist transmits anger. Tears show happiness or sorrow. From the first day of life, a baby express pain or hunger by cries actions. Gradually, the infant adds expression of pleasure and smiles when a familiar person comes near. Then little one begins to reach out to be picked up. Literacy, the ability to read and write, gives one the command of a native language for the purpose of communicating. The involves skills. In learning, speaking, reading, and writing. The excitement of learning to read and write hopefully will be as rewarding as a child's first word and first step. Language development of young children. Babies cry, cooing, bubbling, and association. Bubbling. These early random sounds made by an infant are a repetition of sequence of clear alternating consonant and vowel sound. This vocalization will eventually be combined into words such as Baba for battle, Wawa for battle, and so on. And then the second is association. A baby begins to get some idea of the meaning of a few words about 6 to 9 months. An association between the sound and infant makes the meaning of the sound start to become clear. According to Fields and Spengler, 1995, before the first year is over, babies have narrowed their utterances from all possible sounds to those significant in their environment. Before long, they all began to make the sounds of their language in combinations that means something specific. As soon they acquired this ability to communicate with words, they began to string them together for even greater result. One word usage. Many first words are completely original, private words of the child. They may be sequences or intonation used on a consistent basis. In the early stages of language development, a word such as hot or no often stands for a whole object of an experience. The one word stage also uses a word to get something or some action from others, such as go, down, or mind. Getting the appropriate responses, approval, and smiles from adults encourages the child to make the sounds again and again. And then the second is recall. A child's ability to remember an object name even when the object is not visible is helped by the touching, grasping, and tasting of the object. Responding to her name, identifying family members, and watching or pointing to or naming an object usually occur toward the end of the first years. This is some called sign language communication, such as when a child holds up her arms to be picked up. Telegraphic speech. The two-word sentence is the next step in the development of language of the young child. This speech helps a child express wishes and feelings and asks questions the child repeats over and over, such as all gone, drink milk, or or throw ball. It is important to talk and listen to a toddler. This is a critical language growth period as the young child is processing, testing, and remembering language. And then the last is multi-word speech. The child can express feelings and tell others what he wants. At the same time, the child can understand the words of other people and absorb new knowledge. The child's vocabulary increases and the repetition of songs, stories, or poems comes more easily. Words become important tools of learning, and they help a young child grow socially. Children talk together and friendship grow. Literacy development of young children. Literacy development, a lifelong process that begins at birth, includes listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Learning is prerequisite to learning. Learning to speak is an important step toward learning to read. Researcher believes that children learn about reading and writing through play. As a teacher of young children, you see this happening every day, right? Because literacy is a continuous process. Children are working on all aspects of oral and written language at the same time. And then encouraging family support. Family members are a child's primary teachers of language. They are the first people a child hears speak, the first adult spoken to, and the most important people a child will communicate with throughout her life. And then respecting language of home and school. It is important to understand that accepting child's language is a part of accepting child. Children will feel more successful if you involve the parents in activities and understand the different learning style each child may have. And then parents can help identify some basic words used in the child's language, especially those that are important to the child. If possible, have a family member or someone who speaks the child's native language available to help the child learn routines and expectations, as well the new language. And then the fourth is organizing and planning for integrated language and literacy experiences. As the significant adults in a child's life, we should ensure that the environment surrounding each child be the very best can be, developmentally, individually, and creatively. As you plan the physical space for the language and literacy activities, you should keep in mind that how you design this area will affect the choices children make in their second activities. And then the fifth is setting up a language and literacy environment. Materials should be available all the times for children to use for writing. They should be separated into appropriate, brightly colored contents to make it easy children to choose what they need, and the use and care of the materials should be discussed each time something new is added to the learning center. And I have tips and activities. The first is flannel board activities, and the second is group time activities, and the third is language activities. About the flannel board activities, one of the ways to tell or to extend a story effectively. Children can help the teacher tell the story by planning the pieces on the board at the appropriate time in the story. And after the teacher tells the story, the flannel board and character pieces can be placed in any activity center curriculum area. And about the group time activities presents the opportunity for listening, speaking, vocabulary development, and cognitive and also social activities. Appropriate group time activities are finger plays, poetry, songs, stories, flannel board activities, and sensory activities. They should be developmentally appropriate and reflect multicultural or anti-based content. Thank you for listening my presentation today. So have a nice day everyone. Have a nice weekend. Stay happy, stay healthy. Bye-bye.